What's up everyone, my name is Josh and this is Josh Unboxed and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about the risks associated with the sports card market or hobby, however you want to look at it. But I think risks associated are mainly within the sports card market in terms of looking at this thing as an investment or looking at collectibles as an investment. There are a lot of risks associated with this. And I think the risks apply more heavily to those who are trying to invest, or also trying to flip. There's a lot of factors to consider. One of the biggest risk factors is speculation. A lot of us like to speculate in the hobby. When a hot new prospect comes out, we speculate on these guys. We try to buy cards hoping that these guys will pan out over time and then be able to sell them for a profit. That's a huge risk associated with this sports card market or hobby. Another risk that gets associated with everything is, grading. Grading is a huge risk that a lot of people tend to take in terms of trying to make, whether you're trying to make a quick buck or trying to invest in a card. And I think what makes grading such a huge risk is the subjective nature of it. One person can see something as a 10 versus another person can see something as a 9. Right? One of my PSA returns that I showed you guys, I had that Kobe Bryant Fleer, 1996 Fleer rookie card that came back as a PSA 9 within that submission. I submitted that card way back then with a minimum grade of a 9 because I thought that card was a 9, just from my eye on looking at it and inspecting it, but it came back to me as minimum grade not met. So probably the person who was grading it saw it as an 8. But I submitted it again one more time and it came back as a 9. So there is a huge risk associated with getting your cards graded. You send a card to get graded, you're hoping for a PSA 10, you're putting money into that card, first off, buying it raw, whether you're ripping it from a pack, however much money you spent on breaking wax just to pull a particular card, or you're buying it raw on eBay, or you're buying it raw at a show, and you're already putting money down on that card, and then you're adding on top of it another price to get it graded. So there is a risk to the point where if you really want to get a gain, you need a PSA 10. If you get a PSA 9, you may be able to break even. But if you get that 8, that's killer. So that's a risk that is associated with grading. You gotta, unless you have a really good eye and you can really determine what the card will get. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have great eyes in terms of assessing a card and trying to determine what kind of grade it will get. But we also got to recognize that not everyone has that great of an eye, and I feel that when the boom happened, a lot of people just started submitting cards just for the sake of submitting cards, because the story being told was that, hey, if you get your cards graded at PSA, the value jumps significantly, or the value jumps 2-3x. But there's a lot of cards out there on the market now that have been graded by PSA, a lot of 6s, 5s, 7s, that people are, that they're selling for the cost of getting it graded. So there is an associated risk with that. Like I said earlier, the associated risk with picking young players, speculating on players, there's a risk associated to that because, injuries are always a huge risk factor as well, but we can't predict that. We can't predict how players are going to pan out, especially when they're so young in their NBA careers or in their professional careers, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. And then also the risk associated with grading. We cannot determine or predict what a card will get because at the end of the day, grading is subjective. You can only hope that your cards will grade high, but you got to be damn sure that it's going to grade high. So there are some risk factors involved. I'm pretty sure I missed out on a couple other ones, but those are two risk factors that come in my head when in regards to trying to invest within this sports card market. Now, the way I'm looking at things is more of a long-term approach. So as I'm looking at things on a more long-term approach, I'm trying to minimize as many risks as possible. So in a couple of future videos, I do plan on talking about my current position on PSA and how I feel about getting cards graded versus raw cards in general, the whole speculation matter. So stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you guys did, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. And with that being said, my name is Josh, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.